Okay, so where were we? Before we ended the stream last time, we had this here, and I tried to, mock up a module for the differential and stuff. So after the stream, of course, I just had to, do something because I had this idea in my mind, and I had just, just had to complete it. And I just see that I should do this. So come on, this and this. Of course, change it. Okay. Hey, Andre. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, this is much better. So the basic idea for the differential. So this is our CV joints, so to speak. So basically, this is the chassis part of the half axle. So it goes, the horizontal axis goes to this gear, and this gear connects to one side of the differential, and on the other side, this guy here connects to the other side of the differential, and this gear here drives the differential. So basically, what happens is, if I now hold the other side here, so it's stationary, and drive this, see, this moves. And same if I hold this and drive the other side, it's same. So, and when I drive both, of course, or drive them, if I hold this, they turn in opposite directions. So basically, this entire case here is the differential. I mean, this is what we have to do if the differential doesn't fit between the half axles. Incredible. Amazing. However, this has flaws. So first of all, it's big, it's heavy, and the major flaw that I spotted is here is where the suspension link should attach. The problem is that I have absolutely no way of attaching it in a way that would hold still. So, okay, where, sorry, where did I lose you? What did I not explain sufficiently? So basically, the differential is in here. So this and this are the inputs in the differential. Here, normally here would be the half axles. So the drive shafts would normally, normally there would be drive shafts here, going to the wheels. But we have turned this differential 90 degrees. And because we have done this, of course, we had to employ this neat system. I'm a Slavic in origin as well, so English is speaking English is sometimes challenging because the tongue is not used to the language. I don't speak it every day, and it shows. Yeah, so this is what we need in order to have a differential. But we can make this better. It's a neat system, but it uses too many parts and doesn't allow us to mount the suspension links. So we can do better. And we can do better with stuff like this. So these two have all of the holes that we need. And we are going to see what we can do. Obviously, we have to modify this a little bit. In order, to serve us well. Just let me think where these are gonna be located. Here and here. Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There are several options here. For now I'm gonna try something, and yeah. Vicey boy, what do leaf springs have to do with what we're doing here? I don't understand. Why would I do leaf springs? I've done leaf springs on the charger. So if you want to see how leaf springs are done, go and see how the charger looks. So my idea is now this. Then we use this here and this here. The attachments for the suspension links are this. And now we put in this. So this cannot move. See? This is now fixed. And this is now fixed. So now we can take this apart. This is this. You see, all the structure that's in here is this. No more. So suddenly we have made this a whole lot lighter and less complicated. The only unknown here is the input for the differential, but what review of the car Ford will be? I don't know what you mean. Okay, I mean I can disassemble this because I know how it's done. Okay, so differential out. Blah. Okay, so you see this is gonna be replaced by this, and I can already feel the weight difference. This is quite a bit lighter than this. Just comparing this. So let's put this back together. And I think this is gonna have once we're done, this is gonna have a much more favorable way of attaching things. Come on. Yeah, okay. Miscalculation on my part. Okay. Okay. No problem. Doesn't matter. I'm going to leave them as is for now. Who knows what we're gonna do. Okay. Now we put this one. This, of course, is just experimental, so don't worry. There's we have to think about how to mount this in the first place. So don't you know, don't interpret things in here. So wow, suddenly this is a lot smaller than it was before. So now we have several options. Okay, so one of the options would be if we put this in, this, and this would already make it all, very stiff. However, while this looks pretty neat, and I am missing a few things. So what I'm missing here is I have absolutely no way of attaching this to anything beyond this. So there's nothing I can attach this to. And because of this, we have to use this differently. So one of the ideas I had was, for example, using this here. And then, of course, because we want this to be, well, stiff, you know what I mean, we can use, I don't know, something like this to mount it, you know, further, or, you know, we can, this is better, yeah, this is better. And on this side, we use this, or something, you know. But here we have a problem. So already we find ourselves at the moment where we have to do some re-engineering. And besides, so this top part is okay, but here at the bottom we need to think out, I mean, not out of the box, but we have to be creative, because here, of course, we could do, you know, something like this. This would go, but the problem is, of course, it's not attached to this at all, and we have to devise something that makes this fixed to this part on both sides, of course, because, you know, this is just, it's gonna be, you know, the weight-bearing structure of the car. And if we take a look at the wheel hub, one thing that we have to consider is we need another attachment point for the other suspension arm. So if we take a look at this, see, this here is the attachment point for one suspension arm, and the other suspension arm has to be 1, 2, 3, 3 studs away from here, if I'm looking correctly. Has to be, yeah, 3 studs away from here, in the same axis as this. So this is what we have to keep in mind. Basically, this is gonna be quite tricky. I'm gonna mock it up just so we have we can imagine it, you know, what I'm building. Well, maybe it's gonna be, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe it's gonna be the solution. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so, but like this, and this, and this one. I just want to make the position, to mark the position, basically. So like this. So if I'm correct, yes. So if I'm correct, this is the correct position of the location of the second arm. Like this. And I think it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Problem, of course, is that, you know, this is detachable. And it shouldn't be. So this gear here is kind of too large for something coming through here. But I would like, you know, to have something that comes through here and attaches to this here, and prevents it from pulling out. Hello. So yeah. And here on top, you know, I really like this. I mean, this is really cool. I don't know what we can do here. But I have a feeling that, yeah, you know what we can do. I know what we can do. So, listen to me. So, let's imagine that this is the firewall. Let's imagine the firewall here. And this guy here has studs, like 4 studs, for example, like in Formula 1. And this attaches to the firewall. Okay? So it attaches to the firewall, and on its own, it's, you know, torsionally, it's going to be fine because it's going to attach at 4 points at least on the firewall. The problem is, of course, when the car is accelerating and stuff, it's going to detach from the firewall. It's going to be able to detach from the firewall. Kind of. So in order to we cannot use, of course, threaded rods and stuff like they use in real life to fix this in place. But what we can do is, if we have this attached to the firewall with pins, we can have a let's say structure of lift arms that goes along it somehow, I don't know, between the suspension and the gearbox, kinda. Let's call it frame rails, and the frame rails then attached with pins to this, and the frame rails then keep this from dislodging from the rest of the car. So we don't have to over-engineer this, and we can use this, and we can use pins, because this is gonna make our life a whole lot easier, I think. So obviously then we need to re-engineer this a little bit, because it has to kind of continue somewhere. I know Lego did threaded axles, but I don't have them, and I don't like them because they are very fragile, and the threads kinda don't like to stick together. You know, with vibration, they like to kind of shake themselves loose. It's not, it's not metal, so we shouldn't expect too much from it. So, with this in mind, I would like to now transfer this here to this here, because this is a much better platform to start building this from, because this is already basically the core of our front suspension, and it's like this is, oh my god, holy shit. Okay, this is really stiff. This is really stiff. Okay, I totally did not expect this. Oh my god, this is stiff. Right? So no binding is gonna happen here. Okay, I'm surprised myself. Really good. And here we have the ideal situation that we actually, depending on how everything here goes, we could attach another frame on each side. We'll see. We'll see. So we do have options, because obviously here in the front, we are going to have a gearbox, and then the engine itself, so the Buick motor can attach to these. And here in the back, we can have the frames in order to attach them to the body. And then we have basically, this is already the whole front structure of the car, to which we just put on body panels for the looks, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's actually really simple. This is really simple. There's just so many gears because we have to, jiggle everything around for the packaging. Okay, so with this established, let's now transfer this to this, so that we can place the upper arm properly, because we have with these parts here, we have a pretty good basis for attaching them. There's a few minor minor issues here. For example, how do we drive this gear? Because if we use the same method as that I used before, for driving it like this, the downside of this, of course, is that when force is applied, they are gonna detach, obviously. So we have to kind of think of something how to keep this attached. It's doable. So yeah, no big. It's gonna be semi-complicated. Okay. Yeah. The smaller scale actually means a bigger challenge, but I like this. Everybody can build stuff at big scales, but the smaller the scale, the more you have to compact everything. And the challenge is the thing that I really love here, that basically we are not omitting any stuff that the big car has. We have everything. We have we are even adding stuff. We are having front wheel drive. We have I mean, basically more. 16 tooth in one corner. You mean here? Can we then lower this? Because this is, you know, I cannot lower this anymore because it's gonna make contact with this. Oh, please. Go away. Okay, so let's put this on the damn car, you know, so that Christian stops bitching. Okay. Again. Where did I put a number 3 connector? Yeah, thank you. Oh, to drive the... Oh, yeah, right. We can have one on the side, right. True. That's a very good idea, actually. So, as Ben said, we can have a gear here, for example, or here. I don't know. Yeah, this is great. And this makes everything lower. Very, very good. Yeah. Okay. So this makes it clear how tight everything is actually. Okay. So, but Ben, of course, discovered that this here obviously needs changing, because this half stud here that we have is a little bit far on the inside, and this then makes some stuff difficult to mount. Hey, Mr. Morty, and yeah, we have to change this a little bit. So we remove this. And we add this. And now we add this. Sort of. I don't know. This is gonna change a few things. But let's see. I don't want to go too aggressive here. Yeah, this is gonna do. So I want this to be here. I'll explain in just a bit. Just let me mount this. I'm just looking for parts to mount this in a sensible way. But basically, for now, I'm gonna mount it let's call it the lazy way, because I just want it to be here. We're gonna think about a better method later. That's way too high, of course. We don't want it to be as high as this, but it's convenient. So, yeah. So this is a convenient way of mounting the upper arm, and you can see basically how compact this is. Actually, there's really between here there's no room. So the other arm, of course, is going to be right here, you know, and the steering is going to be right here. So basically the steering rack itself, is going to be here in this plane, and this plane is going to be the steering rack. We're going to have these here mounting in the center of the steering rack, and then the steering rack is going to be behind them, you know, on the firewall. Basically the steering rack is here on the firewall, and between the steering rack or under it are going to be the springs, and the springs of course are going to mount to this here, this here is going to be mounted probably up here, something like that. How far? So 1 2 1 2 4 and 5 is 9. Okay, so we need a 9er. Okay. And now on each side, we have this. And this. Ish, you know, because I think now that we have this, it's kind of, you know, limiting upper movement, and we have like just 2 studs of travel, just 2 studs of suspension travel. I would probably want a little more, but for now I'm leaving it for now, just so I can mount this. Okay, of course, my miscalculation. Maybe it's gonna be fine. Yeah, it's lowered a little bit. The temporary holder is gonna be just below the hood, basically. I think the hood is gonna be just here. So imagine the suspension being at full drop, and the suspension arms are just touching the hood when it's at full drop. Okay, here. Yeah, we'll see now. Oh, suddenly, okay, we can have more drop. Yeah, that's fine. See, so this is full compression. This is full drop, and I think it's the suspension travel as is like what, 2.5 studs. Yeah, I mean it's quite. Imagine this. So imagine this. This is quite, for the scale. This is quite the amount, quite the range, of suspension travel. And we have actually, not bad. It's an acceptable amount uh, of yeah. Of course, I can hardly simulate this right now because I would need more hands, that I have. Yeah. Oh wait. I can basically fix this in place in order for me to operate this. I can basically there I can disable one of the axles. And now yeah, now this is gonna be so much better. Yeah, but at lock you can feel a resistance. Here it's fine. This goes really smooth, and then the small steering angles are okay. This is fine. This is very troublesome. Oh my god, yeah. So much, you see, so much energy is being lost here. Yeah. Very. My god, those CV joints are such garbage. Such garbage. Oh, Lego. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? My god. Such small movements allowed before. Oh my god. This is already binding. This is a mere suggestion of direction. Oh my god. Yeah, it's binding, yeah. But it's not much. Yeah, it's binding because you see it's compressing here. So this part here is basically, see, it's pressing onto this and creating more friction. We're not having four-wheel steering. Absolutely not. What we are having is we are gonna have passive rear steering induced by bump steer. So this is perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal. I mean, when you're turning the tire, it's fine, but when you are driving from the driving rings, it's not so good. Yeah. And of course, with this setup here, we have to think of something. Maybe we should move this whole thing one stud further behind, further to the rear, because the angle of these is a bit too steep. That's why I put the inner series 3 studs apart instead of 5 in the beginning. Oh yeah, you mean, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but if we had them, if this was narrower, then mounting the differential would be more difficult, and we couldn't do this as smoothly as we did here, I think. Or could we? If we put this one stud closer, so that we have basically a longer CV, and since this is going in and out, we don't really care about the length, it doesn't matter. So if we put this one stud closer, we use a smaller gear here and a smaller gear here, we're gonna think of something how to mount this here. And yeah, let's try this. Yeah, let's try it. I mean, now that we but no, we can't. If we do this, then yeah, this is not gonna go, because if we do this, then this gear here is gonna bump into the differential gear, and it's gonna bump into this. So everything here inside is gonna prevent this small gear from turning, and it's no go. So we have to keep this setup. This setup, it is perfectly designed for this differential and those gears. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if we put this, if we have this 3 studs, then the big differential is no go. But the big differential has to be there. I insist. The big differential has to be there. So we have to slightly redesign this part here. Okay? We have to slightly redesign this. Let me think. So if we had this like this, you know what I'm going for, right? So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So these here on top are gonna be like so. They're gonna be like so, and we're gonna slightly redesign this part here. So we want this to go like this. Yeah, that's also an option that I was thinking about. Could be, yeah. We maybe should be doing this as well. Probably both, because we want a better steering axis, and we want the solution that you proposed. Yeah, we're gonna do both. Yeah, this can fly, and this will fly. Come on. Because Christian, being the ingenious self that he is, has just come. I mean, he proposed something that we absolutely should do. Just let me fix this first. So what I want here basically is I want this setup here for the A arm somehow. I'm just looking at the options because this was different. How do I mount this? I don't know how I mount this. If I used I would like to have the steering link here. I mean steering link, this guy here. To replace this. So replacing this with well, I don't know. So we get the effect of it being half a stud offset, as we had before with the with this setup, but looking better. So this would be ideal, but I have no way of attaching this to the rest. Let's see, I don't know how to attach this. Bummer. this is not gonna go well. This would be so perfect. This would be so perfect if it went. Shit. Somehow, even even if I use something like this, but then if I use something like this, this would go. But then I need to, well, where's the steering link? Then I need to have something else for the steering link, I think, because this is gonna be then a bit wobbly, wibbly wobbly. But this would be nice. Okay, let's leave it like this. Maybe I will come up with something better. But let's mount this first. Let's mount this. So it's gonna be mounted like this. Yeah, but not with this, but with this, I think. It's gonna be mounted here. Wait, can we mount this? Yeah, we can mount it like this, I think. So here, there, yeah, that's how we're gonna mount it temporarily. Just to test things out. Okay. Okay, now let's see. Okay. Where's the limiting factor? Why does this not go further up? What's limiting it? Is it this? No. Oh, it's this. Really? So, obviously. No, but it wasn't this. Oh! Of course. Yeah, okay. Never mind, I'm stupid. Never mind. Okay. Of course, I was wondering, oh god, why doesn't the suspension go further up like than this? You know. Then I remembered. Right. This is limiting it. But that's okay. Because I think that this is, it's quite enough. It's quite enough. Okay. But now we have, since we moved this half a stud further in, now we have the better steering angles. But as Christian said, we can improve this even further with these. So instead of having this here, we can have this here. There. And there. Okay. And here, the half shaft can move a lot more, and it doesn't bind onto this. So we're gonna use this and see how it goes, because this I think this is a very good idea. And of course we have this, which is could be a blessing or a curse, because you see now these two can wiggle a little bit more, and I kinda think that eventually those teeth are gonna skip and destroy themselves. I don't know. For now, it works. So let's go with this. Yeah, the bush is not a bad idea, to be honest. The bush is not a bad idea, and I was already thinking about it. So like this. Yeah. God, now the challenge of putting this in. Come on. Come on. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. The steering angles are now much improved. Let's see how it actually performs. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. This is actually usable. Holy shit. Much better than before. Much better than before. But look at what's happening here. So look at this guy here. So actually there's quite a lot of movement. And it's a very good thing that we used this method here. Look at how far beyond those two, how far beyond those, come on, focus. Focus. Yeah, how far beyond those studs it goes. And before it couldn't because of the part. And that caused the binding and the fact it didn't, wasn't able to steer. Yeah. Holy shit. I'm really proud of you guys. I mean, Christian and Ben, you know, the combination of those ideas is quite something. I couldn't accomplish this on my own, but I think we managed this quite nicely. Yeah, quite nicely. Okay, so first issue solved. Second issue, springs. So obviously we have to now test the springs under some load and see how this kinematic here works. Obviously we don't have a lot of room here, so we have to be let's say we have to be creative. Okay, we have to move these to one stud further back, which means that these two at their lowest point are gonna be in this position. So we are basically gonna use these here, and yeah, steering rack is coming. This is all now the same situation. First I want to do the springs because then we're gonna see what kind of room we have for the steering rack, or if we have to move the springs. So this is, well, we are going to solve two things at the same time, basically. So these two should be mounted here, which in this specific setup that we have here now, they can't. They can't be here because we don't have a part that would allow this. Kind of. So it's either this. So what can we do? So what we would have here is basically, well, come on. And as I said in the previous stream, I don't want these links to be too long. So this would be here, something like that. In you know, in the lowest position, they would be here, and I want these to be as vertical as possible, of course. So yeah, technically they would be here. Come on, really? No, I didn't use all of them. Okay, so this, I'm just mocking this up. You know, this can't be here. It can't be here, but of course, never the right part on the table where you need them. So many bricks, but not the right part. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so it would be here. This would now swing up and down. And here in the center, we would have these here. These here. Ish. This is not exactly how I want this. Or maybe we could have the springs acting directly on this, you know. My idea was actually to have... Okay. Yeah, there's a teeny tiny problem with this idea that I had. So let me get some springs. Let's use let's use the softer ones for now. Just for demonstration purposes. So one of my ideas was that the springs would be like here, doing this, or they could be here, depending on their stiffness, of course. Doing something, something like this. Good question. I can tell you why. The reason why is because this is gonna be the whole module, and if we want the springs to be horizontal, how are you gonna mount them so that we can remove the suspension? That's the trick question. So we are gonna having so the front and the rear suspension module, which I want to be fully removable. If I mount these parts horizontal, first of all, I know it's tempting. It's a neat idea, but then how do I remove them or mount them to the chassis? There's no room for me to. I would then have to undo the springs first somehow, and then remove everything. It's a logistical nightmare from my perspective at the moment. But yes, horizontal springs would actually solve a few issues that I have here. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all, but needs to be carefully considered. How do we mount them so that we can relatively easily remove them? So it's obvious, of course, that what we have here is going to be an anti-roll bar at the same time. So it's going to be springs and anti-roll bar combined. Race car-like, of course. But yeah, we have to solve the issue of how to mount this, because here, see, the steering rack is going to be right here. And we have to have the springs mounted, I don't know, somewhere here. Or, like Ben said, we could have them, for example, we could have them mounted horizontally, like this. And then this would be somewhere in the car, beyond the firewall. And the springs would be mounted in the chassis. I don't know. Maybe there could be a way. For example, if we mounted these fixed on the suspension bridge and then have a hole in the firewall where we fiddle them through, and then we mount the springs here on each side, inside of the cabin, where you have the door and you can reach the mounting point. That would be a possibility, yeah. since the central tunnel, of course, is going to be occupied by the Buies unit, probably, or maybe it's going to be on the passenger side. I don't know yet, something like that. But I mean, we don't have a lot of room, of course, in central tunnel. It's going to be short and small, so keep that in mind. So yeah, I mean, this is the front springs, and the rear springs are going to be like already here. You know, it's not a lot of room that we are going to have. You know, coincidentally, this would look like a Citroen 2CV, which has the springs also horizontally. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, that's a possibility. It would basically free us here, so we could have the freedom to engineer the steering rack as much as we like. And yeah, this could be the idea. Now, obviously, we need to experiment with springs because we are definitely gonna use these, and with these springs, we probably want to use the stiffer ones because and the small lever here because we want the full suspension travel. And these here, I think they only have 1.5 stud suspension travel. So if we want 2.5 stud suspension travel, we have to use a smaller lever than this. That's the whole idea here. Yeah, something like this. So yeah, basically we have to use this with the stiffer springs. That is also a possibility, to have to have it, since this is in the center and it doesn't matter if it's front and rear. Yeah, we could have this as well. Yeah, true. We could have the springs here in the front, mounted horizontally on the bottom of the floor. I think this would work as well. And I think here, of course, we have room is tight, but it should be doable. Because of course we have to, here in the front, we have to we have the drivetrain, and I want, of course, something, you know, that's gonna carry the drivetrain, you know, I don't know, a support structure like this or something, you know. This is, of course, wobbling, doesn't matter. We have possibilities of mounting this, but yeah, let's transfer this to the front. So we don't need it here. And here in the rear, once this is gone, we do we have the possibility of doing what I want? Maybe. So my idea here in the rear was I wanted to use this like so. Yeah, I can have what I want. I can have what I want. Yes. So great. This is gonna be the carrier. This is where we mount it to the chassis, and this is of course the basically the top. Okay, the hood is basically gonna be exactly here. So that's the top of the hood basically. We're gonna probably try to do a plate here, not a Technic piece, but a plate that's gonna cover this, so the hood can be as low as possible. We're gonna have some bricks and plate covering just this, something like this. I don't know. And the steering rack is gonna go through this here, and it's gonna be mounted then to the this here is gonna be mounted to the firewall. So we're gonna have a pin here, mounting this to the firewall. And when you when you want to undo it, you unpin this, and it unpins from the firewall. Very good. And then again, of course, one good thing that we see here is that we have the freedom, which we should take, to mount the steering rack lower. So we can mount the steering rack as it is here lower. So we can use here we can use the lift arms to mount the steering rack much lower than it is now. And then we can make this part here better. So, you know, we can have the steering rack basically here in this in the very center of this. So it has all of the room, and we can engineer this properly. No, here we have in this, because here in the steering rack, when the steering rack is, we are gonna have, since this is a requirement, both the attachment for the servo, and it has to have a working steering wheel in the passenger in the cockpit. So we have to take both here. Yeah. And here we gonna have something like this. Something like this. This is just a preliminary idea. Obviously, this is it's not even interfering. Look at this. It's not even interfering. And the good part is that the A-arm is actually braced against it constantly, so it doesn't flap along. Win-win, I would say. Win-win. Yeah. And it yeah. Perfect. Wow. Okay. That's a lot better than I anticipated. Okay. Sometimes, you know, you get gifts like this and you have to take them. Okay. So on this side, we are gonna have the springs. So they're gonna work like this. want the lever for the springs to be like this. This is just barely clearing it, but it is clearing it. Okay, I'm gonna mock this up. Don't take what I'm doing here too seriously. I mean, you're not taking this too seriously anyway, so let's not pretend. Okay. And you know, I'm picturing something like this for the cage for the engine. Something like this. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a little bit higher, and then the engine and the fake gearbox are gonna be inside of this room here. And here is the grill and the spoiler. So we have the springs are gonna be mounted like this. Okay, in order to demonstrate the springs, I have to kinda mount this a little bit sturdier. Just, you know, just to demonstrate. how do I mount this in a sensible way? Yeah. Yeah, of course. I'm my idea here is not to do this as a real example. I'm just playing around for to have the springs here. I need a structure here that's semi-sturdy so we can demonstrate how the springs work. Uh, of course, we need to see how the measurements compare to a real car. But you know, that's the general idea, that the engine is going to be here and the gearbox ish. You know, being of course in line with the real car, because the real car of course has the engine in the front as well, so it's kind of understeery because the engine is further up front. But you know, that was the plan all along, because if we wanted to do a perfect race car without regard of realism, we would have all of the mass centered in the very center of the car. We would not uh, we would not make anything beyond the center of the wheels. There would be nothing here, just some looks. But you know, that's not how we work. um it's, you know, it's a little bit of fun as well. Hmm. Yeah. I was kind of thinking of this as well. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks. I had kind of a brain fart. Yeah. Thanks, Ben. That's I don't know. I forgot about this part. Yeah, like this. Hmm. Oh, come on. Okay. And of course, this is just temporary. Of course, it's not the end product. So I don't really care. Okay. Yeah. So this is, yeah, this is nice and sturdy ish. Um, Now we have springs. They're too soft, of course. And you can see here that we can actually, we can't increase the lever. We could, if the hard springs are too hard, we're gonna try them in a moment, we could increase the number of springs, but not the lever, because you see, the full suspension travel compresses the spring, so it uses up the entire travel that the small spring has. Let's try a stiffer spring. For example, the red one. Oh god, yeah, of course. The red one, I hate this. Those springs are garbage. The red one, of course, is bending. The whole spring is bending. It's not compressing. It's just bending because we have to add another lever here. So basically, yeah, okay, it has to be like this. It has to then be. And I think it wants some support here in the front. Basically, I'm gonna do this. There. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this now works. And I think it's too soft. So maybe 2 springs are gonna be needed. But what? Suddenly. Okay. Suddenly, why are we not using the entire travel of the spring here? But we did before. That's strange. Before we used the entire travel of the spring to get this suspension movement that we're getting here. Now we don't. Okay, let's increase the lever. Let's increase the lever. Fine with me. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Now nothing's happening. Okay. This is now too stiff. Yeah, okay. I guess it needs. What? Okay, this would be ideal. It's quite stiff. I guess we need support here as well. But this creates problems. Like problems that we cannot solve because the tire is gonna hit this. So one of the options would be that we move the spring in the center of the car. Because what this happens right now, see, if I use this, the spring, instead of doing this as it should, what's happening is that the axle and the whole structure is bending instead of the spring. So some reinforcing needs to be done here in order for this to actually work in the end. Yeah, because this is happening. So we need to use a longer lift arm here and something else for the fulcrum. Otherwise, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Because yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much done for today. I think we have done quite a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna replace this with a 3-stud just so we can have a softer movement. it doesn't bend as much. We still get the effect. Yeah, we still get the effect of spring. And you see, even with the soft spring, this still bends up. So we have to engineer something that doesn't bend up here. I don't know, for example, something has to be done here. I don't know. So that this doesn't bend. If this would not bend, then we would get a much better effect from the spring. Yeah. But oh boy, is the steering now better. Much better. Yeah. I think it's not gonna be any better. This isn't gonna be better as it is, and it's pretty good. Even here it's smooth, so we can basically block this in the steering rack, so it's not bending past this point. And then on this side, it's like here. Yeah. That's acceptable. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good steering movement. Not bad. Yeah, this is gonna be our engine bay. We have to rethink this a little bit. This is not good. This axis here is probably gonna have to be inside here, so the springs are flatter, because we have to have enough room here for the Buick's engine and stuff, Buick's motor. So yeah, or maybe we can have this lever here shorter, and then this lever can be shorter as well, and everything's gonna be more compact. Yeah, this is probably the way to go, I think. Yeah, let's try it real quick. Let's try it real quick. I'm curious. I'm curious. So if this lever here is gonna be this here. Okay. It doesn't matter now at the moment if this impacts or whatever. I'm just interested in what happens here. So this is the position here. Yeah. Okay. To reposition this to the front. Oh, and I broke one. Oh, very good. Oh, a little bit too eager, but yeah, happens. Okay, more compact. Why is this not going up? Oh, okay. Okay. So, okay. This isn't stable. I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to put this on here, just so that this thing doesn't move. Or at least, you know, this happens here. Because this here is pulling on this, and it's trying to pull it towards it when the spring is activated. Yeah, now it's better. We'll fix this. We'll make this upper arm beefier, and we're gonna mount it on both sides. Then it's gonna be fine. Yeah, this is actually okay. Let's see how much suspension travel we have. So 1 stud, 2 studs, and a little bit. So 2 studs and a little bit suspension travel. I don't know if this is enough. Maybe. I have a feeling that it's gonna be not enough. And one of the things that I see right away is that, you see, I would like the this link here to be 1 stud closer to the wheel as it is. So it would not pull it as much forward. But for this to happen, it has to sit 1 stud higher. Because here at full drop, you see, at full drop, it's colliding here. So we have to do some re-engineering here. So basically we have to mount this here 1 stud higher up, and then we can have this higher up, and then this would be even 1 stud further to the front, so it would impact the engine and drivetrain even less. Yeah. Yeah, but the lower arm, you know, is not blocked anymore. The lower arm, this lower arm here, it's not blocked by anything anymore. It doesn't make contact with anything as far as I can see. Maybe a little bit here, but that's okay. You see, if I disconnect this here, well, this here, I see the lower arm is not blocking it. It's the spring. The spring is blocking it up to here, and then it could go more, but it can't because of the spring. So this is the entire suspension travel that we have now engineered. And the entire suspension travel that we have is so 1, 2, 3. It's 3 studs. We have 3 studs of suspension travel, which is very good. If we would have like 2.5, that would be perfect. So now we have 2. 3 is a little bit too much because then if you imagine the tire here, you see, then at full compression we are basically scraping the floor. So that would not be good. So we want a little bit of clearance here. So 2.5 studs of suspension travel is very acceptable at this scale. Very acceptable. I mean, it's a rally car, of course. So yeah, we do want some suspension travel, and this is, I think, this is great. What we have here, this is really great. Yeah, some re-engineering here. Maybe we could, when we re-engineer, we could put this even one stud closer to the hub. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So this is probably gonna happen off stream, this part here, and we'll see. Oh yeah, I have I have one axle blocked already. So basically I'm simulating the engine here with the what, when, oh, yeah, I mean, we really, in the next episode, we really need to make the steering rack. So yeah, I mean, it shouldn't skip. It shouldn't skip. So by the next episode, I'm going to make the other side as well, so we get a sense of width, and I'm gonna try to re-engineer this, so we can, continue with stuff here. So with the steering rack and stuff. But yeah, we are gonna keep the horizontal springs because they actually save a lot of space, and they are a pretty neat solution. And if I have to change them or whatever, they're easy to change. And where they are, they actually, I think they won't since they're gonna move one side to the front as well, they won't affect the gearbox and the engine. So they basically slot underneath the engine. The motor, sorry, the electric motor. So this should be neat. Yeah, and the gearbox basically should be just switching between the outputs of the motor. So basically, the motor has a slow and a fast output, and we just switch between them. So this is our 2-speed gearbox, the mandatory 2-speed gearbox. I'm still not sure how we are going to fiddle a rod or something that's gonna shift everything here through this, but we'll see. Yeah, but those thin bevel housings are very very nicely braced in the structure here. See, the structure here is extremely stiff. I showed it at the beginning of the stream. This structure here is extremely stiff. I was surprised myself. And you see this here is, it cannot go anywhere. The axle itself would need to bend for this to happen. And since we have the bevel gear here as close to the driven wheel as possible on each side, I don't think that the danger of all of this skipping is high. You know? Yeah, both absolutely both gearboxes need to be synced. So it has to be one cable, one motor in the center is gonna switch them both, and it's gonna be one long lever or something that's gonna be switching them both. So, you know. So yeah, absolutely, that's gonna be of high importance. Yeah. I mean, I love this. It's wonderfully complex, yet simple at the same time. You know, it has a certain, I don't know. See here, the slack that we have to do this. This part here has to be made with an axle hole. So we have to basically mount this here into an axle hole somehow, so that the slack here, see, the slack here is mostly in the pin connection. So, you know, this here, this slack, we'll see. Absolutely, yeah. Frames are well, frames are my fetish, if you want. So, yeah, this is actually very great. Yeah. Anyway, this is it for today. The next stream is gonna be on Friday, because tomorrow and the day after tomorrow we have clan wars in World of Warships with my clan. So, you know, I have to be there. And for this, unlike in the previous season, this season we are going to reschedule the streams around the clan wars, so we can have our 3 streams per week without affecting the World of Warships activity, and vice versa. So I can have the streams, I can play the game, and I don't have to choose either or. Okay, so it's gonna be the new schedule is probably gonna be Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday. And you know, if need be, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I see you on Friday.